Welcome, welcome one and all. It was on this glorious day, 7 whole years ago, on November 11th, 2011, that we released the first episode of the Terrain of Magical Expertise web series to a lovely little website called newgrounds.com. And in that time, we have come a very, very, very long way, as evidenced by the amazing people that I'm joined with today. But this is, in fact, the TOME Terrain of Magical Expertise 7th year anniversary live stream. Thank you, everybody, for being here, both in the chat room right now, if you're seeing this archived later, and my many, many lovely guests who are joining me for this momentous occasion. In the time that we've been doing this, of course, we had the web series that went from 2011 to 2015 for 16 episodes, which I worked on with a whole bunch of incredibly talented folks. And in the last couple years, we have been working on the Terrain of Magical Expertise RPG project. We started working on the demo in 2017 and launched the Kickstarter campaign around this time, about a month ago this time in 2017. And we've now come up on a full year since we made an incredible $100,000 from over 1,000 amazing supportive backers. So thank you all for that very, very much, and we are continuing to work diligently on the project. We have a bunch of people joining us to start with, and we're going to have even more later today. But to begin with, first and foremost, if you haven't already put two and two together, if you're watching this on my channel, I am Chris Niosi. I am the head honcho creator. I'm hearing echo of myself. Good. I'm the head honcho creator of Terrain of Magical Expertise. I'm the voice of Kerbifer. I was also the voice of Zedo in the web series, which, if you know the show, you know why. And for the game project, I'm also the head animator and writer, and any other odd jobs that I need to do, because we have, a very small staff of people doing this. And I'm joined by a number of folks that worked on both the series and the game. Would you guys like to go ahead and introduce yourselves now?
Yeah, sure.
Hello, folks. I'm Mike Prinky. I am the lead programmer on the game.
Hey, I'm Scott Gowan. I'm the game designer, or one of the game designers. If there's some kind of number, I've probably had some kind of involvement in it.
My name is Jordan Lasco. You guys probably seen me a couple times on here, but I'm the background artist for the game, and I also did backgrounds and a bit of animation for the original series, so hello.
And I'm Zach Frost. I designed most of the characters and almost all of the enemies of the game.
Yes. And you guys are going to be seeing the work of all of us and more, and we're going to be showing you all. Already we're 5 minutes in and we've got 176 people watching, which is excellent. So thanks everybody for tuning in. This is super cool. We've got a lot of good stuff that we're going to be doing today. Just as kind of a quick overview of everything, first of all, we're going to be showcasing a quick little demo video. This time with no lag, because I'm not playing it live. We had some wonderful work done, particularly by Michael in the last 48 hours, and he recorded a video of the new stuff that we're going to be showing off. That'll take about 20 minutes to 30 minutes or so. After that, we're going to draw our winners of the anniversary giveaway, and pick out the folks who are going to be winning some speaking line NPC characters to be seen in the game. And then also, probably around that time, we're going to be joined by a few other guests, some of the voice cast. So we're happy to have them join as well. And then after that, we're just going to do kind of a general sort of Q&A and, shoot the breeze and talk with y'all about the show and the game and anything that we can talk about. Some things we can't talk about. Of course, we still can't spoil certain things. But we will also, at the end of this video, we're going to be, or at the end of the demo showcase in a minute, we're going to be revealing some new characters, some of which I think you guys are familiar with. So, all right. So to begin with, I'm going to switch over to the demo video here. So let's get going. All right. So first and foremost, this is Jacksony Jungle. This is one of the early levels in the game, and this is the first time in the game that you have a full party of 4 characters. So in this case, you have the player, White Hat, you have Alpha, you have Kerbifer, and you have Flame Girl. Now, first and foremost as well, Mike, I would like you to talk a little bit about this new feature we're going to be showcasing, which is the equipment feature. So you want to talk a little bit about that first and foremost?
Yeah. This is the primary means by which, by the way, like, this is a preface here. Obviously, this is still, like, really early demo stuff. This doesn't reflect the final quality of the game. There's going to be a couple of glitches that show up here and there. But anyway, so the equipment stall is basically the primary means of advancement in the game. It works very similarly to how you would manage like badges in Paper Mario, except we have, instead of badge points, we've got slots that are color-coded, type-coded, really, that only accept certain types of power-ups. So you see the red power-ups go into the red slots, the purple power-ups only go into the purple slots, green power-ups only go into green slots, and so on and so forth. Typically, the red power-ups are for improving like your attack power and stuff. The purple ones are really, really special because purple slots are actually wildcard slots, and you can put anything in those. So if it's a purple-only slot, then it's something really serious. You see me equipping power-ups that are specific to the character's race in a couple of these. You notice me doubling up on the human-only power-up on Flame Girl there. That's because those actually boost like all of the attack stats instead of just physical attack, so it was better for Flame Girl to get the magic boost. Let's see, and I've got a couple of power-ups here that actually block status effects that I'm putting on White Hat and Alpha because the backer fights are really, really hard.
Yeah, all of your characters are very tough, so...
To whoever was responsible for Sun Wulong and Vineplex, those two in particular are really, really nasty.
Yeah. Speaking of nasty creatures, though, moving into the next part of this area, we have some of the enemy characters. Michael, I do also want to talk a bit about the work that you did on programming their movement and stuff, but we'll get to that a little bit later. First of all, I want to give... I think I've said first of all and first and foremost like 8,000 times, so we're on to some other number by now. Seventh of all, Zach, you designed these guys, the Ninjants, along with basically every other monster enemy in the whole game. The criteria I kind of gave you was for the Adatis Woods region of all the enemies for that were just like weird, creepy insects and plants and stuff like that. So you want to talk about kind of the design process of them a little bit?
Good memories, good times. Ninjant was supposed to be a praying mantis.
And then Chris screwed it all up.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
Yeah, I designed it to be a praying mantis, and I guess there was a little breakdown of communication there, but it's not really a big deal.
Yeah. Look at me go! Look at me go! I'm murdering them all in cold blood. All of your creations.
Dead.
Yeah,
that's okay. They're not that good anyway.
Oh wow! I went ahead and I gave these guys kind of a ninja theme with they throw firework bombs and they do the little teleporty jumps and all that. And regarding their jumps, of course, Michael spent a massive amount of time not just on Ninjant, but all of the overworld enemies and kind of the movements that we have and everything. Do you want to talk a little bit about the programming process on...
Yeah, so we went through about 3 different versions of the overworld enemy AI before we landed on this one. And, you can see right there's one of those little visual bugs with the guy kind of stopping in midair. But That's like the one time he does that, and it's when I'm recording. Anyway, yeah, so the original implementation was really brute force and really simple for the demo. Then I kind of switched to a method whereby I was trying to program like their state machines by hand and do a lot of manual coding for them, but it didn't really, it wound up being pretty awkward, so I wound up switching to a node canvas based state machine that I wrote about on the Kickstarter update the other week. And finally that kind of got it organized enough that I could pan it out into a bunch of simple commands like jump here, dash here, and that sort of thing. And it took a lot of trial and error to get things like the jump to and dash commands to gel with their pathfinding system, which you also see working with the player characters, the party members here as they navigate around the overworld. With the way they're set up now, basically Alpha can't get stuck trying to catch up with White Hat. You can't get them wrapped around a corner. They're going to follow you basically to the end of the stage, no matter how far away from them you get.
They're very good follow the leader players.
Yeah, and similarly, the enemies have a lot of that capability too, and can follow much more complicated paths than they used to be able to do. And there's Vineplex, and that's why he's a jerk. Starts off the battle, 14 damage to Kerbifer.
Yeah, I mean, well, I am very susceptible to plants. I don't like them much. By the way, a little shout out to our shopkeeper character that you saw in the previous area a second ago. He's not ready to be shown off to the world entirely yet, but there was a little cameo of him. He was also designed by Zach, thank you very much, and he gave many different designs for him, actually, depending on the region that you find him in, so that was a lot of fun.
The world isn't ready.
Not yet, but soon. Soon. For the many various flavors of him that there exist. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of different fights that we have here. We've mapped it out. Actually, major credit to Scott for a bunch of things, actually, regarding the backer characters. Lately, he has been working on balancing their stats in terms of their, attack power and defense power, speed, HP, all that sort of thing. The very techie stuff. But also, on the creative side, he was very helpful with kind of arranging what levels and what areas and how many in each stage throughout the whole entirety of the game that each of them would be appearing in. Because as you guys may or may not remember, we have, I think, about 150 or so of these characters that are going to be seen in the entire game. So Scott had to go ahead and, find places to put all of them. And, this is just a small sample, but Scott, do you want to talk about kind of the different combinations you came up with for some of these characters?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun just arranging everybody here. In this particular group, this team is called the Aggressive Guard, and that's because, as you can see, they're hyper aggro, but also they're all natural types. This is the first stage where we have Flamey in the party, so it's kind of like through the combination of Flamey and Alpha's techniques, you're supposed to have a little bit of an advantage here, but, I kind of counterbalance that by making them really tough.
Yeah.
So,
well, I'm also
this ended up being,
in the playthrough, I'm also intentionally holding back a little bit so you can see some of their moves.
That's fair, yeah. Once you kind of know how to deal with them, it's easier. But I remember actually the last balance push that I did, I actually dropped a little bit of Vineplex's defense a little bit because he was just too much.
By the way, how very DBZ of you, Michael, to hold back your real power level in the midst of a fight. Pretty much appreciated. Yeah, here's a couple more enemies. We had 16 beats, which was seen in the demo. And Zach, talk about Arnoldi, the killer Rafflesia plant, because I love this thing.
Oh, well, it took 4 drafts to get it just right, I think.
Yeah.
We kind of wanted to go for something a little unsettling.
Yeah.
And
there he goes, eating an enemy to increase his own power and health.
Yeah, he much like a real Rafflesia plant, he eats bugs and gains strength, but also much like a real plant, he burns up in fire. So Flamey just went ahead and destroyed his ass. But anyway, yeah, there's actually quite a few. What's the term? Not uncanny valley, but like very, very scary horror type plant and bug type enemies around here. But what's the name of this backer team, real quick, Scott? I forgot.
This is the dangerous species. They're
yes,
all
of course.
Dangerous animals who have magic powers.
Yes, indeed.
Which covers a lot of characters in the game, but like in specific, that was like kind of the concept going in with these guys.
Yeah, I mean, it was great that even just to begin with, that all the backer characters that we got from everybody, were so inventive individually, but then Scott did a great job with like combining them together into kind of appropriate teams and not just bam, 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 all dead, all dead, all dead. Take that. Sorry, I had to gloat. But not just thematically, but also taking into account which characters in the party are with you depending on the stage that you're in. Because we talked about this a little bit before, but in most levels, the party members that you have with you are kind of pre-selected depending on what's happening in the story. Excuse me. So, first burp of the entire stream. I'm sure Mac is very proud of me and disgusted with me. We had to also take into consideration, like, okay, so, like, for example, Curb is with him, and, he's strong against crystal element characters, but weak against natural element characters. So, having a balance of, the different elemental aligned characters and what their attacks are and everything, taking that into account too, so that, you're not kind of screwed over in every stage, unfairly or whatever, which required a lot of work. And now he's moving, like I said before, into the stats for all these characters, which is, a lot more on the technical side of things. But
requires more tweaking, requires more playing around, requires more QA testing.
Yes.
Just the usual.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot of trial and error to get this kind of thing right.
Yes, indeed. Oh, here's something cute. In case you guys might have missed it due to all the annoying lag from last time. So in the healing station, it's a little hot spring. And the characters go in. This is our equivalent of like a Pokemon Center. You hang out in there for a little while, take a nice dip, and then you're all good. And this is just a little cute scene with throughout levels. You'll get a little break from the action. This is kind of your reward for going through a bunch of fights. Is the characters will have some fun little interactions together. This is just a quick cutscene where the gang is talking about their experience with RPGs. Michael hauled ass again these last couple days in particular, choreographing all of these cutscenes, which is a duty that I will be taking over starting next year once I finish all the backer characters. But for this level and for the purposes of this demo, Mike did a great job, and you absolutely got the sensibility of what I was going. I think you've played enough Mario RPG to understand kind of the feel I was going for with hopping around
for hopping up and down a bunch.
I'm going like rugby, or whatever the little shysters do and all that. Yeah, I don't know if this was you were able to tell this from any of the previous builds, but the white hat character actually gets to speak, and what happens is generally most of the time. If they're going to speak, they're either going to be answering a question or asking a question. There's a couple other cases like that that don't apply in those kind of scenarios, but that's kind of your method of communicating with the other gang. So you're kind of the least spoken of the gang. You kind of pipe up when necessary. That's
like not like silent protagonist, but like soft-spoken protagonist.
Yeah,
right?
I wanted to have. Kind of the whole excitement of this is that, and part of the appeal of it is that it's meant to be like you become friends with the characters in the Dandy Alliance, and in order to help kind of cement that experience, I wanted to. I wanted to have the player character, be able to speak at least a little while. Jordan, by the way, because we haven't talked much about this, do you want to talk about the design process for Jacksoni Jungle a little bit?
Yeah, sure. This was actually one of the... I can't remember if it was like the third or fourth level you gave me, but...
It was early on, definitely. I think it was like the second one.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward for the most part, very jungle-themed. It's got a lot of the mushroom motifs, like really tall like set pieces. Yeah, I mean, it really just it starts with the tiles. I always get like the tiles going, so like you have a lot of vines, a lot of grassy pieces, a lot of just like dark dirt. You want it to feel very jungly, and then on top of that, if Chris has like large set pieces like the giant mushrooms, I'll like go through a whole design process for that. If he's giving me like reference pictures, or I'll just do some research on my own and just come up with basically come up with what I did. So it's a pretty straightforward process. Like there's not too much to talk about there other than just like kind of go for it. Since I kind of know where Chris's head is at most of the time, because we just kind of go over the files and I just do my thing.
Well, you guys are going to be seeing Jordan's more detailed work eventually when you get to see the hub towns of each of the 4 regions in Tome, where she and Crescent Rhodes, also of the Mystery Skulls music video fame, worked very hard on the buildings, in particular, the larger objects for those areas.
Yeah.
So, by the way, we're approaching ever closer to the reveal of some new characters, by the way. Newly revealed for the Tome RPG, but perhaps familiar to viewers of the show. We have some new versions of some new takes on some old favorites, and some personal favorites of mine, actually, all lovingly redesigned very stylistically by Zach Frost, so thank you very much for that, Zachariah. So the characters you guys are about to meet are going to be some of your most consistent rivals throughout the entirety of the game. And here they are, right here.
It's the Grinch.
It's the Grinch, of course, finally confirmed. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the Cast of Dreams, one of the competing guilds that the Dandy Alliance is going up against for the Campaign of Champions, led by the illustrious and badass and one of my personal favorites, among personal favorites, Saturn Diva, the tough, headstrong, sarcastic, no-nonsense leader. Her right-hand woman, Snow Whitey, who is the second in command to the group, and very sweet, usually kind of the mediator between things. And we also have, right here being seen, Astrologist, who's a really friendly British chap, and he's very sorry about being late. And up there she is, good old Sniper Rider. She's very active here, as you can see. she was late. So these are the 4 starting members, the 4 of these folks, and the gang is evenly matched. The mission that is happening currently is the gang is going out searching for these relics, these little statues that they're having to collect for the current Campaign of Champions event. So, as it turns out, the Dandy Alliance and the Cast of Dreams in this particular, at the end of this level here, both happen to arrive at this treasure box first. And Flame Girl knows these guys because she was previously part of their guild before leaving and forming the Dandy Alliance with the rest of the gang. So now they're competing against one another, and they're having a little bit of a conflicting, moment here with having to go after this treasure. So they decide to have a gentle players agreement and, do a 4-on-4 match, and whoever wins will get whatever inside of the treasure box, which may or may not be one of the relics that they're looking for. So here we go. And major thanks to both Living Tombstone, who composed the background music for the level and the battle theme for the Cast of Dreams. And these versions that you're hearing right now were arranged by Cadget, Weston Durant, who will be hopefully joining us shortly. And by the way, the Dandy Alliance are not the only characters in the game who know how to use team attacks. In fact, actually, this moment right here with the Cast of Dreams, this is the introduction of team attacks to the story. These 2 in a row that they just used are the kind of first introduction of that. So, this battle is kind of going to wrap up the demo here. But do you guys have anything to say about the Cast of Dreams to start with?
These guys are nuts. If I didn't equip any power-ups for this, or if I under-equipped, they would kick my ass up and down.
Yeah.
The best part about it is, like, the strongest member of the team is not who you would initially suspect.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I'll just have people figure that one out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it'll become apparent, actually.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, let's
Yeah.
see.
There's one character in this group that takes a while to get rid of.
Yep. And yeah, so this is actually kind of a good litmus test for because something we're actually not going to be showing because it's a spoiler is that this is one of many scenarios where if you win or lose this battle that you're having right now, the story carries on. And you may or may not miss out on certain things, and there will be different consequences for the results of that. But we want to leave that as a surprise for when people will actually get to play the game for themselves. So we're going to end after this battle is over. But this is a little preview of some of the abilities that they have, and the different strategies. These and what's interesting too is that as the game progresses, so they start off with 4 members. Bam, 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 bam. Sorry, I never get tired of that. These guys grow. Over the course of the game, they add more and more and more members to their guild. Their numbers grow, their strength grows. They are some of the most formidable opponents that you're going to be having throughout the entire story. And kind of getting to know, what the deal is with them a little bit. And they're all very quirky, they're all very out there, they're a little more character-y compared to, Nylock is the most, insane of the Dandy Alliance members, of course, but these guys are a little more out there because they're a party. They're like a real group of crazy guys, and, but they're very driven, and their eye is on the prize to win the campaign, so.
Driven, it's funny because Sniper Rider just rode right through the White House.
She did. She's got to watch where she's going. Zach, you went through quite a bit of a design process on all these guys. I think each of these 4 members in particular, I think you had at least 2 drafts for each of them, right?
Saturn Diva, I only had to do the 1.
Oh yeah, I think you got her right. Well, she's very up your alley in terms of the types of designs that you do anyway, which makes sense.
Sniper Rider probably took the most drafts.
Yeah.
Whitey took 2 drafts, and Astrologist also took 2 drafts, so you're generally in the ballpark there.
Yeah. Astrologist, I remember one of the first versions you did of him was very completely he was utterly unrecognizable. He was very cool, but it was utterly unrecognizable from Astarob, as people would previously know him as. But I think the cute glasses and his kind of he has a sort of like a nanotechnology kind of thing. It's sort of the next step of what was once his reflector shield kind of things. And that's it. And so our gang wins the battle, and that's all you're getting for now in terms of how that's going to go. But here's a little look at the Cast of Dreams up close. We have Saturn Diva, Snow Whitey, Astrologist, and Sniper Rider. So the 4 of these characters make up the beginning sections of the Cast of Dreams. They are super cool. They were a ton of fun to animate. They were a ton of fun to to come up with attacks for both their individual ones and their team attacks and everything. So a lot of fun with them. Very, very happy with them. And so that's all we have to show for the time being in terms of the gameplay stuff. We will still have more to show over the coming months, and especially a lot throughout 2019. But that's a little bit closer to, and Mike, you can probably talk about this better than I can. That's much closer looking to how the finalized game is going to feel compared to any of the other stuff that we've had.
Closer than the demo was for sure. Closer by a long shot than what we had at GDC. I will say that there are definitely a few things that are still rough. All of the characters are going to have another pass done at their attacks in order to make them a little bit punchier, a little cleaner. Obviously, a lot of the sound isn't in there yet. I think somebody asked about the voice acting. That's something that we'll deal with like towards the end of production when everything is finalized. And then, there were a couple of things in the cutscene choreography. That was all super, super first pass kind of cutscene work. So, like everything is still on a first pass kind of phase for a little while. But it does look a lot nicer.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very happy with this. And how far we've come already with compared to the previous stuff that we've had.
I'm really happy with how far the process has come. Like, this last week was mainly to address bugs because this was the first time in like a month or so since I started working on enemies that all of the pieces are kind of together at once, and you can experience an area like this in full. Now it's a lot faster to make areas. We can whip up something as comprehensive as Jacksoni Jungle was in maybe a week. So we should be able to blaze through a lot of the rest of the content of the game and, make it through a respectable portion of Chapter 2 by the time the year is out, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And we've already got, as Jordan and I have talked about many times on the streams, the animation streams, we have a pretty sizable chunk of the levels constructed and things. And, so we're kind of trucking along more and more. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, the levels are all, like, for half of the game are laid out. Populating them is a different thing, but it doesn't take that long to do it now. The backer fights, Nathan has done all of the ones for Chapter 1, I know. And we have the assets for all of the backer fights, period, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're all imported and ready to go. We just gotta attach the stats and AIs to them. So.
Right, it's just a matter of setting up their stats and their attacks and things. So that's one of the things that helps is the fact that Chris is so far ahead on the art generation for this thing. We have enemies and backers for days and days and days, and can just busy ourselves trying to catch up with where he's already at.
Yeah, but we're moving along. We've gotten a whole lot of stuff done. I plan on doing some very different kinds of updates on a monthly basis starting from 2019. That we're going to change the format up a little bit in terms of how that goes, and still hopefully do some streams. But real quick. Excuse me, second burp of the day. We have a few more guests joining us right now. We have, I believe, if everybody's mics are working, we have a musician and a couple voice actors that have just hopped in. Is that right? Do you guys want to show that you're alive, everybody?
Absolutely.
Oh, my God.
Hello.
Oh, hello?
Hello.
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 All right, hold on. I'm gonna do a thing. Hey, everybody. Introduce yourselves in the order that I totally didn't just type names in the chat to, please, to all the people watching the stream right now.
I don't even see a chat.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Skype
See,
is
all right.
awful.
See, there's a little thing in the bottom left corner. If you click on that,
Oh
it has
my
the rest
God.
of the chat.
Weirdly, this is
did.
exactly
Like
how he
magic.
told us to
Yeah.
introduce ourselves. He said, introduce yourself by being confused by the interface.
Yeah.
Thank you, Martin.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm up first. No. It says okay. See, up here first it says Ann Martin too. So
Oh, God damn it!
No,
Stream's canceled.
I'm Cadget or Cadmaster Cadget, whichever one you want to prefer. Or some people just call me by my real name, Weston Durant, and I compose part of the soundtrack for Tome. For the show and for this new game.
Particularly, you just heard his work on the two arrangements, like I said, of Yoav Landau. Oh my God, who's not here right now? He's busy doing something. I don't know what. Probably writing another. He's probably not writing. He's probably off writing another 5 minutes and Freddy song. Oh my God.
Come on, get him in here.
He said he might be around. We'll see. Maybe he'll join later.
Okay.
But yeah, Kaja did the two remixes of of what you just heard for Jackson E. Jungle's background music, as well as the Cast of Dreams theme. Those were arrangements of two compositions by.
Oh man, you showed those off like right now.
Yes. All right, the rest of you schmucks, say hi, please.
First off, everybody in the chat, give Kadget a round of applause. I want to see some clap emojis because he's freaking amazing, and
yeah.
he just deserves that. Hi, I'm Casey. I'm a nerd. I'm a voice actor. I voice Game Crazed in the Tome animated series and GameSoft in the Tome video game.
Yes,
which you just saw.
Yes, indeed. GameSoft has not been shown off in gameplay form just yet. But hopefully she will be soon because she is super adorable and fun and has really cool attacks. So, yeah.
I can't wait. It's going to be cool.
What about you, big boy?
Hello. I also want to give a shout out to Kadget because Weston Durant is like the most badass 1950s gangster name I've ever heard.
It is!
Excuse me? It's amazing. It's amazing.
I'll take it. I'll take that as a compliment.
I'm known for voicing Nalok Dragon of not being featured in this stream, I suppose. I don't know. And also, more discreetly, I'm known for being the secret unlockable character, Piranha Plant.
Oh, God. Just
wow.
You're
really.
You're out. You're out. You know what? I'm glad that now you're not the last person because a very lovely lady just snuck her way in here a second ago. Would you like to introduce yourself as well, Miss Fearless Guildmaster of the Dandy Alliance?
Hi. I am Anna, and I play Flame Girl. Hi,
yes.
How you doing?
The coolest one of them all, the hottest one of them all at the same time. Yeah. So, guys, I mean, for those of you who have been involved with the series, it has been 7 years since we did the first episode of Tome.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, 20.
And I'm also here.
Oh my God! Wow! Please introduce yourself, sir.
Hello, my name is Devin Mack, and I am Chief Executive Raccoon.
Michael and Scott have kind of joined the Tome family later, and Zach I've known, I think before I was doing Tome, even working on it, and he did some great artwork as well. But the rest of you guys, we've been, we were making the show, for 4 years I think we ran on it, and it's been 7 years. I mean, Martin, I think were you there with me? That's right, when we premiered it at I think at Youmacon first. And then we tossed it up on Newgrounds on this very day, 7 whole years ago. My God,
Crazy.
Hey, guess what? It's almost been a decade.
That's pretty wild.
I don't know what the hell.
Think about that. I'm so old.
I really don't know what the hell we're gonna do for the 10th anniversary, but I don't even want to think about that yet. I mean, my God, guys, so much has happened in our lives in the last 7 years. And, Tome has just been, a very small part of it, but something that I've been very happy to share with y'all. I mean, do you guys have any... I know there's probably a billion things that could be said, but do you have anything you want to share in terms of, looking back on the show and looking forward with the game and everything at all? Anybody?
I can probably put some words out there, but
Sure.
at least, when it's... God, what was it? 2011?
Yeah.
Is when it started? Yeah,
Yep.
I think that was back in college. Junior? No, sophomore year. And I still remember when you asked me on the project. It was just I think I was just a fan at the time, and I had known about your stuff for a while.
Yeah.
And then I think I did some fan art.
You did. You did. You actually, funny story. Those of you who don't know, Jordan did some bitchin' fan art of the Shadow Guard Beast and the Dragon Bug creatures. They're TTA versions of themselves from way back that I really liked, and I was like, "Yo, this girl is talented." And so when I think we got to the second episode of the show, and then I was like, "Hi, I want to work with you." And then she was so kind to do a lot of really amazing work on the show since then. So.
Well, and that was crazy, though, because that was back when I was only just starting to learn Flash. So I've only, now it's been 7 + 8 years now that I've actually had Flash experience. But, I was doing my stuff back in, Paint Tool Sci and Photoshop. No, definitely mostly Photoshop. And, oh, boy, those backgrounds. There's a lot of things that we do.
God, what did any of you guys else remember like the really early days of like when we were first starting doing the show and everything, and like first kind of getting into it? I mean, like, it was, our lives were all like completely different, I felt, back then, in terms of what we were doing and what was happening in the world and etc.
I remember that everybody hated Nylok.
Wait, did they?
That's legit.
Wow.
That's legit.
Actually,
No,
how?
shut up.
I don't remember that
legit.
part.
No, you know, believe it or not, yeah, episode 1 people were kind of split down the middle on Nylok a little bit. You know, he was, because he was the big bombastic, the annoying one of the group, and you know, he was a little mixed. Even, and you know, I mean, it was going to be something, because I knew going in, like, it was going to be a major help in terms of, you know, getting the show out there. The fact that Martin was attached to the project and he was so kind to join on board, and he was like the perfect choice for the character above anybody else. And but I feel like even as soon as the second episode, people warmed up to him very quickly because you know.
You want to talk annoying? Episode 1, Rocky is like, "Hold my chocolate milk." Oh my gosh, he was so obnoxious in that episode.
Yeah, well, I mean, what we were doing was we thought, oh, he's only going to be in this one episode. He's not going to show up again. Who knows? Whatever. But
of course,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
And later, and at some point, I'm just like, now he's gonna cry. Why not?
What a stretch. Casey, Anna, you guys got anything? Good, very good. Yeah. Oh my God.
No, it's just crazy how long ago it was, because it doesn't seem that long ago when you think back on it. But I mean, it's been a while, and a lot's happened since then, like you said.
Yeah.
Gosh, I mean, how the character, how Game Crazed themselves has like progressed, changed, developed throughout the series itself. And I'm not sure if you had everything planned from the start, but I remember when you came to me with the new scripts, and you're like, so here's what's actually going to happen with Game Crazed. I'm like, oh, no way! Like, I had no idea, because everybody was like, why can't GC go meet up with everyone? And everyone thought like, oh, maybe there's some kind of like, maybe GC might be like disabled and can't walk or can't travel or something like that, or maybe something else. And like the last thing I thought was like, nah, GC is just an AI, yo. Like, I had no idea. And when you came out with that, I'm like, yo. So that was pretty sweet. And the way that we won't talk about how much GameSoft has been changed in the game, but there's some cool stuff that we're working on. So just how the character has progressed 7 years ago to now.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild that just how much has happened, and I think you guys are really gonna like it.
Yeah,
it's gotten pretty real.
I got to say, in particular, you know, Casey and Mac both have been incredibly instrumental, I would say, with refining the current versions of the characters that you're going to see in the game, because they are, in my opinion, infinitely more interesting and you know, cover some pretty cool topics, and you know, they explore very different things compared to the series versions of them. And actually, another one that I'm excited about in kind of a different kind of way, more so because I think that they've gone from one of the weaker characters that in terms of, you know, my writing specifically, to probably the best character and the most interesting character in the entire thing is Flame Girl, because my God, you know, Anna's going to be in for quite a ride when we get to the recording process of this stuff.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
Cannot wait.
We got a really good glimpse of that with that exchange with the cast of Dreams.
Oh yeah, and that's just like, you know, the scratching the surface as far as I'm concerned. But Anna, do you have anything you want to share about the show and the character and anything like that?
For Flame Girl, she's just I've liked her ever since the beginning. I know, like, you felt a little like weird about her writing and everything, but I've just always loved her. I loved her progress. I loved seeing her develop. I absolutely love Flame Girl.
Well,
As long as she doesn't get Norded in the game.
No,
There are
never.
people in chat talking about that.
Oh my god. Yeah. I don't think we even have any. I can't recall any like silver-haired Final Fantasy ass characters in the game anywhere. So
Now we need Norted fan art of each character.
oh god, somebody will do it. You know, it's funny because I didn't have enough to do a full month of. I know I'm Martin. I'm gonna preemptively hear your groaning of my pun month names. I did not have enough material to do a full month of Tome Vember this year. But funnily enough, apparently a lot of folks on the Tumblr fandom have been doing like a drawing meme of like some Tome Vember stuff as well, which is really cool. If you guys search Terrain of Magical Expertise on Tumblr, you'll find a whole bunch of really cool fan art that people have been doing recently, which is excellent. So thank you guys for that. Speaking of the fans, by the way, I want to take a quick little break specifically to draw the winners of our giveaway. So I'm going to go ahead and draw our 4 winners from our
Wouldst
Glean
thou
page.
like a drum roll, Squire?
Do it, please. Drawing. Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Okay. All right. Oh, Jesus. I think I just lost a year or two of my life. Excuse me. Okay, so our
I
4...
could open up Fruity Loops and just hit the snare button.
Our 4 winners, and I will be reaching out to each of you guys on Twitter, but in case you happen to be in the chat or watching this or whatever, the winners are Ghost Ash, CMT Video Gamer, Sethros the Lich, and Ben 10 Life YT. Congratulations to the 4 of you guys.
Ben 10 YT?
Yes.
I
Ben
didn't choose
10's
the Ben
official
10
YouTube
live.
channel?
I can only hope. I will be in touch with you guys very soon. You would have submitted an email address with your entry. Keep an eye out later today. I will be sending your assignment of rights contracts, and you can send back all the information and everything. And your prizes to the 4 of you guys, if you happen to be listening to this now, or if you hear it later when it's archived, you will be getting a background NPC to appear somewhere in the game. And you will also be receiving a speaking line, so you'll get one of those cool little character portraits of the characters talking and stuff. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
I want one of those where you go up to me and I just go, hello, and that's all I say.
Casey, I hate to break it to you, but you can't have one of those because you're one of the playable characters.
Why?
You heard it here, folks. Denied first and foremost. Okay, so real quick, by the way, as we're kind of we're going to move into the Q&A section, but I want to give some shout-outs to a couple key players and other folks that we love and dear. We love and endear, and I dearly love them and stuff. Good. English is a language that I speak occasionally. First of all, Nathan Lindley, our system programmer, who also hauled ass with Mike and Scott this past month in particular in preparation for this event. He is, I think, currently at a fair enjoying time with his family, but thanks to him. Shout out to, of course, Mr. Blake Swift, voice of Alpha, who I couldn't get in touch with because he's a big butthead, so screw him. Just kidding, he's great. Go look him up. Voice of Alpha. Many, many other folks. Of course, Amy Lucanegro, who's our video editor, and my moral support by virtue of she's living with me here. And, God, who else? Kristen, who I mentioned earlier, one of the other background artists. Foley as well. Oh man, I'm trying to think of Matt Gardner and Pete Gresser, who have been helping out with some of the script supervision stuff. So many people. God, I'm probably forgetting people. Somebody help me out. I don't. A lot of people. There's a lot of people that we've had some massive amount of help from who have been very gracious, and of course,
the key grips who had to handle Nilok's crotch guard.
and all the best boys who had to help the key grips. There's a lot of best boys.
And each and every one of you at home.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, legit.
Playing.
I was waiting for that.
No, legit. Actually, if any of you guys have just either been supporting it like recently, or if you were a backer, or if you've just been a fan, otherwise, we really, really super appreciate you incredibly much. And thank you for tuning into this, whether you're seeing it live or if you're checking out on the archive later. But yeah, so with that said, And from this point out, by the way, to any of you guys, if you have anything you need to go do or whatever, if you have any other things to take care of, you're free to come and go as you please. But for the remaining hour or anything, we're just gonna start, taking questions from the audience and stuff. So I think what I'm gonna do in the background is I'm gonna just play some episodes and just kind of keep those on in the background and let people start taking questions from the chat. So to any of you guys, if you have the stream link open, please take a look at the chat. And just as, this should go without saying, everybody, but obviously we cannot talk about any spoiler stuff, the plot, the story, or any, the characters, anything like that. So just be aware that there are limitations to what we can and can't talk about. I hope that you'll understand that. But, we'll do our best to answer anything about the game, anything about working on the show, anything about, what we're doing and working on individually, anything like that.
Number 3.
So, but I'm gonna play some episodes in the background, and we'll just kind of go to town on this. So, alrighty.
Sweet.
Who wants to take the first question?
Actually, I picked up one from way back during when the gameplay was going on, just something that I wanted to answer then, but I was going to wait for the Q&A section.
Sure.
So this one was from Linkar Roxhow. It was Linkar Rock. Sorry, I copied that into Notepad badly. But it was, how come we don't see the backers talking? Not here, I mean, see their avatar speeches. So the reason, actually, for that was because, just to pull back the curtain a little bit, that was a feature we removed for this build. It was actually 100% working. The problem being it was conflicting with some of our UI. We want to basically redesign one of the windows, but we opted to instead wait a little bit and I guess kind of retool the backer specific dialogue as kind of like a Star Fox pop-up window that kind of appears in a different corner of the screen. Now, unfortunately, we couldn't get that in for this build because it would entail retooling it, but you guys should be able to see that pretty soon.
Yeah, and actually to expand on that just a little bit, there's a difference between when there's in-battle dialogue with the characters. There's a difference between when it's hard dialogue, as I call it, which is like a cutscene. For example, what you guys saw with the Cast of Dreams battle, where it pauses the action for a moment because it's story related, and then there's going to be soft dialogue where it's passive and it won't stop the action, because typically it's just you start the battle, the backer characters will kind of say their thing, hey, let's fight, or whatever, and Curb will make fun of you, or Nilok will say something silly, or whatever, the usual kind of things to expect. And, And so we're working on the soft version feature and kind of how we're going to arrange where the dialogue boxes will pop up, and so they're not kind of interrupting and covering up anything of importance, that sort of thing, So
Nilok's crotch.
we can't cover up Nilok's crotch. Very important.
We actually need to implement our Zoom feature for that one.
Yeah, very important. Working on that.
Yeah, I gotta put camera mode on.
Jordan, do you want to take the next question if you got one from the chat?
Let me see. See, most of these are actually pertaining more to some of the stuff that you guys do, so I think it might actually be better.
If you just want to read the question, then whoever needs to answer can answer it.
Okay, I see. Well, someone's asking, will this be on Steam?
Yes, we would love to have it on stuff other than just Steam, but we don't know yet. We need to see what will happen with that. But yes, it'll definitely be available for your home computer system. So
no, look, Steam is basically the one absolutely 100% guaranteed platform. The other ones we hope to hit are Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 4, but we can't really give you an update on that just yet. That's something we have to iron out with the potential publishers that we've been shopping around with.
Yeah, which that's also very up in the air. No updates about that yet, but stay tuned. Let's see. Martin, why don't you take one?
Okay. Let's see. Any questions? what do you all think are your favorite relationships in the game, interaction-wise as well as chemistry?
Well, we haven't gotten to record any voiceover for the game yet, so these guys have not gotten to experience any of the kind of new versions of them. But do you guys have any for all the actors? Do you guys have any particular character relations between either your own character and another one, or maybe two other characters that weren't ones that were related to you and otherwise that you really liked?
I really enjoyed Nylok and that one bunny girl that he defeated.
Wait, what?
Isn't that girl he talks about? He's like, I gave her the spanking of a lifetime.
Oh God, I don't know. Oh wait, no, I think you're talking about Demon King's
I don't
partner.
remember that part.
Yeah, I think that was Twisted Grimm's character. Okay, good. So thank you for the non-answer, Martin. Anybody else got something?
Wait, what non-answer? What are you on about?
I was gonna say I like the dynamic of Nylok and Granda and T-Bone.
Oh, okay. So violence is okay, but not like random bunny girl that Nylok.
First of all, she wasn't a bunny girl. She was a demon girl. Thank you.
She was fucking.
And there's our first F-bomb. Martin, it really is 2011 again. We're right back on that 918 The Fan interview again. Thank you. Good.
Are we not supposed to swear?
No, I don't care. It was just the first F-bomb on the whole stream, so it had to come from you. Anyway. Anna, what about you? Who did you...
Wait, no, seriously.
What?
Oh, what?
Go ahead.
Who did I give defeated a demon? What?
Oh my God! You've answered this question, Martin. Somebody else go.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All right.
So somebody asked earlier if Nylok's bulge size will change during the game. It's going to be censored on the PS4, but on the Nintendo Switch version, it will be larger actually. So
that's a joke. That's a joke, ladies and gentlemen.
The Piranha Plant comes in.
Yes, of course, obviously.
Take off his
Yeah.
pants and
Just
Piranha
open
Plant.
it and then just.
No, he's going to be free DLC. Don't worry about it. Let's see.
That's sarcasm, by the way.
Yes, obviously. Let's see. Anybody else got any other ones? There's so many, it's hard to keep up.
I keep collecting some of the gameplay ones just for when we have lulls like this. So Remix V4 said, what kind of customization options will the White Hat have? It's basically everything that you guys have already seen on stream so far. It's going to be your selection of race, class, elemental affinity, and then there's going to be the various power-ups you acquire over the game. There's not going to be any other visual distinctions for that. If we had a little more, if we had a little more time and money, we could do that, but that's pretty much off the table. So that's it.
Yeah, but you'll be able to customize your gender, your character race, your class, your elemental alignment, and you will be able to choose all of your special techniques. And then as far
as techniques, yes,
yeah, which Scott. By the way, once again, major thanks to Scott for helping to come up with a whole bunch of different ideas for because the White Hat alone has so many different choices, and you only saw a couple of them in this particular build. So
literally like
has
1/30th of
largest
potential
number
moves.
of abilities in the
Yeah.
game. Of any single character.
Shadlays12 asked, when do you think we'll be able to see the Net Kings designs? I know not now, but when do you think? I am thinking actually throughout the course of 2019, I might reveal what each of the Net Kings look like over the course of that year. So that may be in the works. We'll see what happens depending on the plan, I guess. But yeah, keep an eye out.
The RPG dude had a question. Since we saw White Hat talk in the demo, will they have any voices in the game or no? In fact, White Hat is going to have 3 voices?
Yes, actually, yes. My plan, what I would like to do, actually, I don't think I've talked about this publicly before, but I think it's okay to talk about. What I would like to do, I mentioned as far as your customization goes, is you can choose your gender. I want to have a male, a female, and a non-binary voice for the White Hat hacker, depending on the choice that you make for their gender, like in terms of when you set up your character in the beginning of the game. I have nothing to say yet about announcing actors or anything yet, but that is what I would like to do. That is what the plan is. So we'll see what happens. But that's currently what the ideal situation for me creatively is. So.
I feel bad.
What's that?
Because I've been watching the stream and
Uh-huh.
I've seen our names like in the credits next to our names, and the whole time I've been like, "Wow, these opening credits are going on for ages in this episode."
Gee, I wonder if that's any signification that Martin doesn't watch the goddamn show. Anyway.
It just means Curb is really proud of us
Hey,
all.
That's true.
Hey,
That's
y'all
true.
didn't remember me saying "spanking of a lifetime"?
No, I remembered you saying "spanking of a lifetime." You didn't remember what the character was.
Hey, I spank who I want.
Hey, remember when we did the episode 15 commentary and you like, I haven't seen this, I don't know what's going on, and you were like pointing out how you didn't know what was going on, and it was really hilarious.
I still haven't seen it.
You're a good friend, Martin. I love you.
I want to watch it when it's special, and nobody is ever.
Hey, you know what? It's special. It's special today. It's Tome Day for all I care. So
That's true.
I don't mean to interrupt all of the merriment, but we do have more questions.
Oh yes, please go ahead.
So let me see if I can pronounce this.
You will not be able to, but it's okay. They'll understand.
Okay, I'll do this one. Kaj Harvey says, "Are all the backer characters going to be especially difficult? How is the difficulty curve going to work?" So the backer characters are a tier of difficulty above the monsters for sure. They are meant to be especially challenging. Basically, in relation to like Pokemon, they're like Pokemon trainers, while the monsters are more like the wild one-off Pokemon. Monsters are there as kind of grinding fodder. The backer characters are actual challenges, and they're all meant to be fairly tough. There are backer fights that are more difficult than others, and that factors into the tiers of the backers' donations, because some of them are explicitly tiers for boss characters.
Yeah.
The exact nature of which I can talk about this, right?
About the Dojo Masters?
Yeah, I can mention.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Some of them are Dojo Masters, which means you have to fight them in order to earn White Hat's new abilities, and some of them are, and that's optional, of course. But if you want new abilities, you have to fight them. The other big boss fight type backers are mandatory story characters who are participating in the tournament, and they have a little bit more substantial dialogue than the one-offs like you fought here. That's basically how it breaks down. There's basically backers who are like gym leaders. There are backers who are like Pokemon trainers out on the roads. There are backers who are something a little bit more than gym leaders, so to speak.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense as a simile.
Yeah, Pokemon is a good kind of measuring stick to go by. I have a couple I wanted to cover real quick. Ziga Exeron asked, who is your favorite redesign out of the characters revealed so far? This is for everybody. Of all of the new versions of the Tome characters that have been revealed for the game, do you guys have any particular favorites that you like?
I just generally like the redesigns a lot.
Yeah.
I just generally think that the redesigns are all... You know what? I'm going to go with Nilok, the least redesigned redesign.
That's true.
Yes.
Keeping it OG.
That's true. He does look pretty much close to that. He's just... Oh, also, God, I knew I was I'm such an idiot. I literally forgot my best friend. Shout out to Mike Lucas, who designed all of the Dandy Alliance, redesigned all of them, and was, I kind of consider to be basically the co-creator of Tome originally. Major shout out to him. Go follow him on Twitter at Mike Lucas. He's amazing. He's also going to be at, he and Steve Yurko are going to be at Anime NYC next weekend at Artist Alley. So if you're in the New York area, and
I
you're going
love
to go to
them
that.
both. I just went ice skating with Steve. He's
Oh,
a
really?
good boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
My for real answer, by the way, is Mike Lucas's redesign of Alpha.
Oh, yeah. He's super fun. The angel.
Oh yeah, that was
Church.
gonna be my answer too.
You like
Yeah,
him too?
no,
Really?
When you
Oh,
first
cool.
showed me those, when
Yeah.
you first showed me what Mike did, I was like, bro. And then you showed me like later designs, like I don't know, like a month or two later. I'm
Yeah.
like, this looks good. And then you showed me how they're looking again, and I'm like, at first I was like, it looks good, but I don't know. And then then you showed me like the the redesign, I'm like, oh yeah.
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 Well,
yeah.
and
I love it tying into the ancient Greek motif, and him not having a tail anymore is awesome.
Yeah, the tail, it had to go. It was slowing him down.
Oh my god, he has a tail.
Yeah,
He's done with his furry phase?
Yeah, well, Shady's not, let's be honest, but otherwise. Zach, I mean, you've designed, like, so many, and we've still only seen, like a fraction of the ones that you've been working on for the past year. Are there any favorites of yours that have been shown off so far?
I gotta say Alpha 2, honestly.
Well, ones that you did yourself as well.
Oh, my favorite I can't talk about.
Well, of the ones that have been revealed so far, are there any other ones that you really liked?
Saturn Diva, I guess.
I guess. I mean, they're okay. Whatever, Jordan, what about you? Anybody else? Got any other faves?
See, that I was also going to say Alpha as well.
Man, and Shay's not here to suck up all the glory. Oh well, too bad for him. Anyway,
no, I really like what the main cast. I like the way the colors balanced out as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I just the character designs are a lot more balanced now. I love the original cast, but just like from a design standpoint, I like the way it turned out even more now. So it's been a long 7 years. So. Yeah,
definitely. By the way, just because I've seen this come up a couple times, real quick, White Oak 019 asked, Mystery Skulls is helping with the game. Will one of their characters, like Lewis, be in the game? Just to clarify, no. Jordan and our friend Crescent Rhodes were animators and artists on the Mystery Skulls music videos. Mystery Skulls, the band, and Mystery Ben, the head honcho of the music videos or whatever, they are not involved with the project. I've known Jordan for a long time, and Crescent I met through her. They're helping with it. We're not associated with I would love that. That would be really cool. But I don't know anybody from that whole thing, so I know. But who knows? I don't know. Who the hell knows?
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that person. I'm just that question just gave me a quick giggle.
I was laughing because of a line from the episode.
You say? Oh, you are. Martin, you're a good viewer. I love you. Hey, actually, here's a question for all of you guys, for the actors. From Childish Meme Bino, what tips do you guys have for people interested in pursuing voice acting as a career?
Don't.
That was my answer.
I don't think I really have an answer.
Be
stay
prepared.
True to yourself, young ones.
Be a doctor.
Yeah.
Be prepared for an overwhelming amount of rejection and constantly second guessing yourself.
And my Twitter followers just like decline. It just decreased by 10.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, it's hard. Anna, how about you? You got something uplifting for that question?
I mean, just start doing it. That's all I can say. Like, just start.
That goes completely against what I just said.
Yes. But if they want to, and if they're not completely, like, into it, they're going to quit real fast.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, because, all right, well, when you first get into it, it's like, all right, I'll see what I can do. And you mess around and you record some stuff and you have some fun with it and you just kind of figure out your vocal range. And you know, it can get kind of tough. Especially, it's a very competitive field. So if you want to do it professionally, you have to be like on top of your ish all the time. And if you're not, you will not get a job. You will not get work. So you really have to just practice and get good at acting first and foremost. Nobody really cares how many voices you can do. Being versatile is great, but the first and foremost thing you have to know if you really want to do this. Is to just learn how to act. Take a class, whether it's in school. I remember I did high school, I did acting, and I did theater. I did a mini theater when I was living back east, when I was a kid. So I had a little bit of training with that when I was a little kid. I kind of had a knack for it already. But voice acting, it's really just taking that acting ability that you learn and you pick up. You just kind of accumulate the knowledge of it, and then you just kind of channel that into a different medium instead of stage or film or anything. You're doing voiceover, you're behind a microphone, and you have to kind of understand how voiceover in video games work, in animation works, in anime works, in commercials work, if that's your thing, and they're all very different. So there's a lot you have to keep your mind open. It's got to be like a sponge observing everything, and that's, I think, your first and foremost thing if you want to do this, is just observe everything.
I'm glad I'm not the only person who's been saying first and foremost 8,000 times, by the way. That makes me feel more comfortable, so thank you. Thank you, Casey.
I got it from watching you.
Yeah,
it went from episode 1 to the final
I
episode.
know. No, I know. I did it on purpose. I can't play them all, so I'm playing the first episode and the final episode.
So my first time seeing this is going to be silent.
Good. No, it's the second time you're seeing it, because you watched it while we did the commentary.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
Oh
boy, I really shit the bed this time. Hey, somebody asked when Ninja Bridge episode 10 is coming out. How about that question? I'm sorry, I have to fuck with you. What else we got? Did anybody else have saved up questions that I've been missing before?
Psycho has asked us a couple of times at this point.
I've got lots of them.
Okay.
But Psycho says, you guys mentioned your party will be predetermined when you go into an area/level. If you go back to a level after finishing it, will you be able to freely pick your party yourself? The answer is yes.
Yes. Sorry, real quick. Ryan Young Chief San regret. When Brawlton 5 coming out? When Ultimate comes out. Anyway, next question.
Real soon.
To elaborate a little bit on Scott's points, there are specific events that have specific characters assigned to them, and then there are basically free days where you get to explore, do what you like, and pick your party from the characters that you've basically met.
And there will.
And there's more I can say about it, but it goes spoilers.
Yeah. But there's going to be lots of options for lots of cool stuff to happen. So,
we just turned this whole stream into the Brawltons 5 stream.
Oh boy.
Well, it's like 5 was coming out when?
Yeah.
Is that what you want your NPC to say?
You got Tom on your phone?
Neon Striver asks, I have a question. When the game comes out, do you encourage people to record the game for Let's Plays and such, or is there recording limitations to what you can record?
No, there will be no limitations. I will say this, though. It's going to be a pretty talky game. So if you're the type of Let's Player who talks over cutscenes, you're going to be talking over a lot of cutscenes. But no, I'm absolutely.
It might actually be a main draw to the Let's Plays is the voice acting.
I hope so. Yeah, I am absolutely happy to see anybody play the game. I would love that. Don't feel. It's so funny. I still get people once in a while asking me like permission. Hey, can I draw you fan art? Can I do this for you? Of course you can. You don't need permission to do that.
But that's the thing. You would actually be surprised. There are some it really just depends whatever creation medium, like either animation, film, etc. There are some people who actually, it's really small minority, but like don't actually like that. It's really weird.
Oh well, no, I adore it, and yes, when the game comes out, please feel free to do any Let's Plays or walkthroughs, whatever you want. I would adore that and very much appreciate that. So of course,
I never really understood when people don't like getting fan art and stuff of characters or you or whatever. I always retweet it. I think it's so cool.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Oh, really quick also, because this episode's playing in particular, this was actually one of my, back on the original series, this was actually one of my first times doing some major animation for this particular episode. Well, actually, I think episode 0 came before this, right?
Yes, that's right, which was the first one that you worked on the monster animations for the Shadow Beast.
Yeah, that was the most insane, I think 2 weeks we ever had, or at least I ever had, in regard to trying to get those episodes done. Especially that was down to the wire. Because like I said, that was my first time doing full scale animation of any kind, and I had to do it with two very big beast characters. And then I was like, "Hey Chris, do you mind if I animate a wavy cycle for the dragon so it's always moving?"
Yeah.
I was sure. It's okay, and then I was like, "Oh no, what have I done?"
And also, of course, we named the Shadow Beast Kadget in tribute to the real Kadget himself.
Yeah, I just saw myself die.
Yeah.
You too, man. That sucks.
Oh, what a shame.
Kadjit, do you want to take a question, by the way? Have you seen any in the chat you want to...
No, there's not really any, I don't think questions pertaining to me.
If anybody has any questions for Kadjit regarding the music, or, I don't know, Bonsai Arcade, or Over 9000, or whatever thing.
Any questions referring to Over 9000? Sure.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Somebody asked if there's going to be a new vocal theme.
Yes, that is something that I would like to do. I have written lyrics for Together We Shout as One, which Kadjit composed well over a year ago now. I think you did that theme. Yeah. That's going to be a fun collaboration between a few people. I don't know when exactly we'll put that out. That might not be until closer to when the game is released. But that is definitely something that I would like to do. Yes, absolutely.
Is there any...
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Is there any card game aspect to the game?
Sadly, no. But the power-up system is kind of like building a deck, sort of. So that's close. Actually, there was one of the backer characters. I think one of the $350 guys that fought with cards, and I got to animate him doing deck shuffles, and he was very much like an Arcana kind of sort of card shark kind of character or whatever, which was a lot of fun. So that was cool. Nihilak needs to collect some cards. He needs to get some cards. He needs to go on a motorcycle. He needs to go to school. He needs to put on a magic show. He needs to go. Martin, I gotta say, I'm really glad that Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains finally caught up to Tome after all these years. It's really good that Alpha's finally the main character of a Yu-Gi-Oh! Series, where he belongs to be. So
Very true.
Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh! Vrains abridged when? Huh?
No.
Okay. Well. I tried, everybody. I tried. I tried and failed.
I saw a question really fast. Someone was asking if there was any percentage of the old characters that were going to be in the new game that maybe haven't been shown yet, or if you can even talk about that.
I'll just say that there are many, many, many more surprises to come with characters both old and new. So, keep an eye out for further updates. Michael, go ahead. You were going to say something?
That was actually the very question that I was going to try.
Well, Jordan took the words right out of your mouth.
While we're on the subject of kind of slightly spoilery topics, a while back, I think this is Sephutia, asked, will there be any LGBT plus representation in the game among the main cast?
Yeah.
We can't go into great specifics about that. Don't think you'll be disappointed.
Yeah. Casey and I can both wink, wink, nudge, nudge attest that there is plenty of that. It's not something that I want to make a huge
That's as specific as we can get.
Well, it's not so much that I don't want to be specific. It's more so I don't want to necessarily it's not like a selling point on the back of the proverbial box. You know what I mean? It's just something, but it's something that is very important to me. It is something that I've been taking a lot of consideration into, and I think that definitely you'll be happy to see what some of the stuff that we've been doing, and so.
Yeah, we have a little bit planned with that. I won't go too much into it, but we want to make it as good as possible, so it's not 100% even done yet. But we're still kind of working out how to kind of make this fit nicely without being, like Herb said, a selling point for the most part. Just something that's kind of there.
Yeah, I want it to be good. I want it to be respectful. I want it to be impactful. And,
yes.
I've done as much as I can on my own with a lot of things throughout the course of the game. Casey's been very deeply involved with the writing of GameSoft in the same kind of way that Mac has pretty much always been very deeply involved with the writing of Raccoon as well, which has been great. And, I'm really liking what we have so far, and I hope that with the final product that you guys will really like it a lot as well. So.
Yeah.
I hope so. Special mode where all the lines are Casey saying hello.
The minigame question.
Oh yeah.
We can't go into super duper specifics, but yeah, there's certainly some mini games.
Yeah, we have some ideas for things. we are still kind of developing.
Not anything as extensive as a card game.
No.
Sorry there, Martin. But yeah, definitely.
It would be cool if you could do like a rhythm game to Nilok's theme or something.
Interesting. Listen, Martin. At the very least, we'll have to do some gotcha tie-in game where you can collect all of the Tome characters as cards. That's a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Next question.
There's kind of a logistical, boring one, but I feel like one that's worth addressing from Numa True Home 100, which was if we switched operating systems as backers, can we switch the version we signed for, or will our unlock codes deal with that issue? And that's referring to the Mac and PC versions.
Oh, okay.
We are not at the phase where we're sending out that kind of we're not. The way that other companies have done it is that they've sent out surveys closer to the date of release where people can ask for or vouch for which download codes they want. We're not at that phase. We have everyone's emails on file, but don't worry about it for now. We'll make sure that everybody gets the platform that they want and that are available. So yeah.
Yeah, you're going to get to pick that closer to the release date.
Yes, indeed.
That was actually the very next question I was going to... Thank you, Scott.
Yeah.
Stacy Nesnes asked...
Yeah, I've been collecting them.
Oh, go ahead. Please.
There's 3 of them that people actually asked, but I'll answer that one first. Stacy Nesnas, is that it? Wolf of Hearts?
Yes.
For someone who has no music experience at all, how would one get started in making music for scoring animations in video? Well, here's the secret for me. I'm not a musician. I am.
That's not true.
It is. No, I am technically, by definition, a musician. But
that's not true. It says right on the screen. Or the composer.
You can't argue with that.
That's not what it says. It says I'm Nilok. Are you saying that's a lie as well?
Shit.
The point I'm making is that I just one day just started doing it. Like, I just did it for myself because I thought it was fun. Like, I'm like, hey, it'd be fun if I made video gamey sound and music. And then one day, Chris heard it and was like, hey, I could use that. I'm like, are you sure?
Well, and also I thought that all of them were... I mean, we've talked about this in a lot of the commentaries and stuff before, but Kadget made a bunch of music for an RPG project he was doing that never came to fruition, and he put a bunch of his music on Newgrounds and DeviantArt, I think, and I listened to all of it and I was like, this is all brilliant, I love this. So straight up, we had a whole bunch of music for Tome to begin with because it was from that canceled project. The title screen became Battle On, etc. Like there was a city level theme that became the that whole thing.
Yeah.
And so that's what we had to start with. But also Wes, that's not doing music isn't your day job. This is something you do for more so for me.
I just do this for you, Chris.
Yeah.
But to give you a more concrete thing, it's just that if you have a tune or a sound in your head, just find a tool to do it. Because the reason I say I'm not a musician, because you look at someone like Yoav, the Living Tombstone, and the dude's a genius, and he knows all his tools really well. He's got all kinds of cool stuff.
Thank you so much. I can't believe you said that about me. Oh my god, I can't believe.
And then you look at me. I have no clue. I literally use 2 functions on Fruity Loops. I got sound fonts, and I got piano roll, and I just click around with the mouse, and still it sounds like the thing in my head. And that's literally
really all it is, though.
That's literally all it is. I don't know how to do certain effects. I don't know how to do certain create certain sounds. There's a lot I don't know how to do. And then it's usually Chris has some guidelines for what he wants, and I just have to kind of challenge myself and be like, all right, how the hell do I make it sound that way?
As an example, kind of to also pull behind the curtain a little bit, so one of the Kadget's next assignment is the theme for the Tales of the Terrain Guild, which is made up of all of Nilok's former role-player friends. And I didn't want it to just be, like Nilok's theme again. I wanted it to be something that befits all of those characters, like Serpentine and Demon King and the other ones you guys haven't seen yet. So, like, I've been giving him links to, like, a lot of, like, ye old, big, bombastic, medieval RPG fantasy kind of stuff. It's like, okay, it's something like this, And weirdly, the most consistent thing I've found I've been coming back to a lot for, like, music references of, like, okay, this is the feel I'm going for, is the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 character themes and Donkey Kong Country. Like, between all the musicians I've worked with, those have been, like, the two most consistent things. And I'm like, yeah, something like this one, whatever. So, but yeah. Can you get Fruity Loops, like, easily, or, like, I don't even know?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Okay, fair enough. There are music making programs out there. Obtain them. Anybody else that would switch to somebody else for a second with any other questions we had?
Marie Mayfield asks, this may be a silly question, but will there be difficulty levels in the game? First, that is not a silly question. That is an accessibility question. Accessibility is not silly. I am actually doing a little bit of independent research on the subject of accessibility and user interface stuff, because something that's come to my attention is that our tappy tap prompts might be tricky for some users to be able to do.
Did you just say accessibility and user interfaces?
Yeah, it's. I could go into a lot of detail about the different topics that have come up on this, but I definitely want to look at having different difficulty levels available for this game. If only just to have something that can take a little bit of the bite out of it for people who just want to be tourists, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And then something to make sure you get a challenge if a challenge is what you want. But more to the point, I'd like to look at accessibility settings for specific things to address more specific kinds of disabilities or handicaps that people might be facing when they're playing. I can't say what form that's going to manifest, but it's something that I feel very strongly about. So I'm definitely trying to take it into account as I'm able to. Right now, basic implementation of the game takes precedence over that, but expect an upcoming revision to address both accessibility issues and difficulty levels.
Yeah,
I know.
Oh. Go ahead.
All I know is that the difficulty levels should go Squire, normal, and then Nilok's Crotch.
That's not a bad ranking. That's a pretty good ranking.
Yeah, followed by very hard.
It's
I think you just summoned Kira with that.
Nilok has to croon as David Bowie, and then I think we'll be okay.
God.
Yeah, definitely. Like, one of the big things that we took away from when we hung out at GDC earlier this year was we, spent a lot of time figuring out. They kissed. Sorry. We spent a lot of time figuring out the finite details of the QTEs for all the special attacks, because I think what's most important, more so than figuring out if we can do like different difficulty levels, is just making all of those kind of elements satisfying and fun for anybody of any skill level to play a game like this. But that's definitely something that we're developing. We haven't finished creating every single one of the attacks in terms of like what all their QTEs are. We've only kind of scratched the surface with the white hat attacks so far, but we've developed them all. So there's a lot to do on that. I was also going to say, a few people were asking about will we consider doing DLC. If the game does well and there is a demand for it and it's feasible, I will say that I would like to do that more so than making like a sequel. I think that doing DLC, little extra campaigns, would be a little more fitting for a game like this than just doing a full-on like Tome 2 or something. But that is entirely dependent on if it does well and if there's a demand for it, and we have no idea what that will be like. So, completely up in the air. But that's what I would like to do if possible. So who knows?
You should totally do like a Captain Toad style game where it's like Raccoon doing like mini puzzles like throughout the actual main story.
I would play the shit out of that. That sounds amazing.
Meanwhile, what are the troublemakers up to?
What indeed?
What indeed? Mac actually just did some writing work on one of the early levels where you encounter the troublemakers, and had some very funny stuff with them in there that was turning out very well. The dynamic of what is now Raccoon, Skate, and Archie is very different than what you guys have seen before, and it's pretty great. So
yeah, this was a question that came up, and unfortunately I didn't notepad it, so I don't know who asked it. But someone was just like really said, like, why is Archie evil?
Archie ain't evil. He's just
he's not.
He's rolling.
Archie is Archie.
He's rolling with the wrong crowd. We'll put it that way. Yeah. Let's see.
I
finally got friends. I'm so happy for him.
That's true.
I saw a music question a little while back. It's in terms of music for the game, is it planned to contain any leitmotifs throughout to represent any of the characters' locations from the original series?
I had thought a little bit about how I wanted to go about the design of that. I ultimately decided that I didn't want to have individual character themes. There are guild themes, like we have the Cast of Dreams, the Troublemakers, the Tales of the Terrain, those kind of characters. That will be consistent throughout the game. And also, like I mentioned, the Jacksony Jungle theme, for instance, that's actually an arrangement of a level theme that Yoav composed first. Excuse me, for third burp. You proud of me so far, Mac? Only 3 so far in 2 hours.
I thought it was 4.
Oh, is it 4? Oh, excuse me. Me. I just lied to you all. That was a remix of a theme that Yoav did for Telluria City, one of the levels in that region, and then Kaja did kind of a reverse engineered version of it for the first region. And each of the 4 regions in the game are going to have their own unique kind of sound in terms of the types of instruments and like the style and everything. Which I'm actually going to go into, I think, early next year. I'll be talking a little bit more in depth about, the usage of that. But we're going to have a pretty kick-ass soundtrack, I can say that much.
Sweet.
Someone asked if I could do a Curb impression earlier. By the way, the thing is, I can't burp on command. So
no, man, no, I can't do that. I can't do that. No. Also, Bosco's an idiot.
Great.
Have to do like an actual burp. You can just kind of stop and go, excuse me.
Lord.
See, Mac is paying more attention to the sounds and little nuances you make rather than the voice.
Yeah.
So that little thing was very on point.
Yeah. See, it's funny. Most people's impressions of me are very like angry. And like I'm an opinionated, energetic guy, but I'm not like an angry, rageful human being.
Yeah,
so
I'm not an angry, rageful person.
God, whatever. No. Okay. Listen, guys.
Okay.
Is that what I am? Am I just angry all the time?
That red hang-up button's looking real nice right about now.
Mac could just talk as Curb, and you guys watching this video wouldn't even
man, no, I mean, no. Truly, I need to get. He's not involved with Tome. Or I don't. Maybe I'll toss him some voices or something because he's getting into voice acting now. But our friend Eddie Carrera, who is a recording engineer for many anime shows we've worked on, this year for Halloween, and sadly I missed it because I was busy. I was busy on Halloween.
He was here for Halloween.
Yeah, our friend Eddie dressed up as not Kerberfer, but me. For Halloween, and it was something to behold. Let me tell you what. If you go back far enough on my Twitter, you'll see some pictures of it that I posted up.
Mac, I want you to say how upset you were you didn't get to see Eddie in Curb's voice.
I'm heartbroken.
Dude, maybe it's just because I have it on the brain after a shout out to our buddy Frederick Fox, but Mac, your impression of me sounds like the Sagan guy that I did for A Fox in Space. I can't believe that I can't get the R-wing, you guys. Okay. Somebody else ask a question for the love of God.
Chat's going so fast.
I've got a few saved up.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Go for it.
This is basically my job. I just copy questions out of... Anyway, Squishy Flan asked, one thing I've been wondering, with hacking playing a crucial part in the story, did you ever consult or involve any security experts or just wing it?
Or watch the movie Hackers.
So Squishy Flan, So this isn't like a cybersecurity thriller, precisely, in terms of the genre. So it's not really based on
I really want a cyberpunk tome.
Yeah, it's kind of meant to be a lighthearted action romp that happens to take place inside of a fictional video game. As such, most of the hacking-related stuff is based around common video game glitches and cheats, basically. So, like, one of Raccoon's things is to be able to screw around with the targeting system and basically take himself and his buddies out of the battle pool. There's at least one time where he puts down input lag, and I think that's one you can get as a player character, is you can induce input lag on one of your opponents, and that prevents them from being able to do like 4 or 5 hit combos on you.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
We kind of treat it in an abstract fashion in terms of the mechanics, because there's basically like a glitch meter that you've got. When you bring up the hacking screen, I probably should have shown this off. This would have been a great opportunity.
I think we have shown it off a little bit in some of the previous videos that we've done.
Yeah, we brought it up in previous streams, but when you bring up the hacking menu, it'll show your glitch rating, basically, and when it passes certain thresholds, you will inadvertently introduce a random glitch into White Hat's own behavior, and it can do very, very light things and very, very significant and crippling things, depending on how high you get it.
Yeah, it's very much inspired by a little bit of the data drain stuff from .hack, and a little bit of the bug style things from Mega Man Battle Network, which of course obviously are the two biggest influences on Tome in general, and so they were good kind of models to go off of for that sort of thing. What were we going to say, Wes?
But Scott and I base it primarily off of like common bugs we've observed in either games we've played or games we've worked on.
Yeah. I mean, we did. Well, like, one of my friends is a security, like has done side jobs in security expert stuff, and I basically listened to everything he said and just completely ignored it. I got some fingerless gloves. I got some sunglasses. I watched Hackers. And,
Lord. Wes, were you going to say something before?
No.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were popping in to say something. I'm sorry. Good.
Did my microphone? Did I smack my microphone or something?
No. I thought you were cutting in to try to say something. My bad.
Anyway, if you were hoping for this to be a super duper accurate cyberpunk cybersecurity thriller, I'm afraid that's not really a goal.
Yes, super accurate would entail like calling someone's number and then trying to like trick them into giving you a password to something else, or like going through like the like in Better Call Saul, like going through the trash and like like piecing together like shredded documents.
Doing a bunch of code injection with PHP and stuff like that. And
there's a part you have to use a hex editor to modify a script to change someone's IP address.
I actually really wanted to do something like that, Casey, but
that would have been sick.
It kind of, we kind of had to roll with something a little bit more straightforward for this game.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing, like, if we had, like, and this is not a complaint, this is just the reality, if we had a lot more of a budget, if we had a lot more people and a lot more time, because to address another question people have been asking continually about release dates, the aim is sometime in the year 2020. There's a lot of other things I'm sure we would love to do to, make it even more in depth, like little things like that. I've been trying to keep everything kind of on task and focused, and even actually, there's certain things that I've like labeled off as like, okay, if this has to be on the chopping block because it's too difficult to, to implement, or if we need to focus on other more important things, then if we have to cut it, we have to cut it. Not that that's the ideal scenario, but like, we're trying to be, realistic in terms of the scale, because it's also the first, this is big enough as the first game project that this team specifically is doing together, and especially for me, because this is the first time I'm creating a game myself. But like that said, there are still a lot of really cool things there that we're very excited about. There were a lot of features that I wanted to make sure were part of the overall idea of the game, because I wanted there to be some particular things about this game that would help set it apart uniquely, and not just like a turn-based RPG, Final Fantasy clone or whatever. I wanted there to be some unique things about it, and I think that for the most part, what we've been doing so far, it's achieved, and I think that the final product is going to turn out really, really well. So that's also, by the way, Ben Diskin, who's the voice of Oddball in that last scene, just texted me. Yeah, I've got a question. When the fuck are we going to play Mario Party, biatch?
Oh.
I've seen
Sounds
it before.
like
It looks good.
Sounds like a thing that we need to do at some point. Maybe a future stream. I don't know. But yeah, so look forward to that. Anyway, what else we got?
Somebody keeps
let's see.
asking-
Azure Kryptonite. Is there a
this part.
particular?
Oh, yeah, by the way, it's the IRL part. The IRL part. Actually, Mike, before you answer that one, Martin, I think had one real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Somebody's asking, and I don't quite understand the question, honestly, but they do keep asking, how come the dragon bug didn't get screwed up when Nihilok changed his avatar in Season 2?
Oh, the characters getting outfit updates in Season 2 of the show didn't mean that, like, their character data was changed necessarily. It was just a graphical change. So it didn't, like, make the debug think, like, oh, this isn't the same character model I'm supposed to absorb or whatever. So that's how we kind of sneaked around that, Hey, there's your friend Emily. Shout out to her.
Yeah,
she's cool.
Emily.
Yeah. Mike
This is
Lucas.
really cute.
I know. I wanted to do this forever. And there's me. And there's you.
This part is so cute. I love it so much.
Dude, we filmed this. Summer 2014. God, like that's already like several years old by now. It's crazy. Thank you for playing. You're welcome, Softy. You're so welcome. My God.
Chris, real
Yeah.
fast, I forgot. What was the date for the final episode for this?
When we came out with it?
Well, yeah, when was the actual last episode of Tome? How long has it been?
We released that on 4th of July weekend at Anime Expo in 2015. So it's
Okay, so
it's been
3
about
years.
it's been 3 years since we finished the series. Yeah.
Right.
Ryan Young Chief San Regret says, I have a question. For this last live action scene, did one of them bring Softy with them on their phone or something? I actually specifically had my Game Boy case on my phone as at least some sort of vague acknowledgement that Game Crazed would be there in some shape or form, like
Yeah.
you could pretend that like I brought the phone specifically.
Actually, wait, hold on. Repeat me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that Mike's phone case, and I had you holding it? Because I think that Mike actually had that phone case.
No, I specifically put the phone case
Oh,
on.
you did?
I was like,
Okay.
look, this is, yeah.
Okay, maybe you both had it. Because I remember I would see the
It's
Game
a
Boy
popular
phone
phone
case.
case.
Yeah. But no, I love that because obviously, Game Craze / Softy couldn't be there in person for obvious reasons if you know the show. But yeah, that was definitely a good way of them kind of being in spirit. And actually, if you guys have never seen, which I recommend if you're curious for the really in-depth, like little Easter egg nugget info from every episode, what are they called? The Fact Bubble specials, which major shout out to Amy. That was one of the first like major editing jobs that I had her do for all 16 episodes for me many years back. And those have lots and lots of little behind the scenes detailed info about like every little like frame of animation and every little reference, every little thing I did. But in reference to that, there was a thing I had where I believe that the idea was they were filming the moment of all four of them meeting together for the first time, and they were going to send that to the Net Kings for them to show to Softy. so that she could get to see that moment and have that be kind of a little gift to her. So that was that's a little like
very cute.
Yeah, like what happened? What happened after the end of the show is like that. That's a little extra something for you in case you guys were curious.
Mm-hmm.
But Michael, you had another one. Go right ahead.
No problem. Azure Kryptonite asked, "Is there a particular special move that is your favorite?"
Ooh, wow. God, I mean, I do love the rapid fire attacks, like the Sun Gun for Flamey and the Energy Cannon for Curb. Those are a lot of fun. Some of the ones that for White Hat that Scott came up with that are very out there and very cool are we haven't fully finished like making them work yet, but they're really creative and actually also the team attacks that he came up with too. Like my God, like there were so many cool ones that we had and.
Thanks.
We want to hold off on those for showing those for a while, but any ones that you guys like a lot?
My favorite has got to be the original and the best Spark Taser, where you just frickin' tase somebody for like 3 hits in a row.
Yeah, I just come up to somebody and go like, "Hey, nice to meet you."
First special ability I did.
That's how we met,
it was
Kirk.
so
I know. I came up and I was like, "Hi, how you doing?"
I was like, "Hello," and you're like, "Watch this." I'm like, "This guy's cool."
Ow! This guy's cool. Oh,
I was like, "Ow!"
ow! Do you guys smell that?
I like this guy.
Scott, how about you?
Well, okay,
You've worked on so many of these.
I can't really Okay, so I'm gonna have to split this into two because there's a bunch of moves that I designed, so I'm not gonna pick those. I'm gonna pick the ones that are made by everybody else. But it hasn't really. I'm not gonna spoil what it is, but the last move that Flamey gets is really cool.
Oh yeah. I made sure.
God, that one's.
I made sure to give everybody, all the Dandy Alliance members, their final attack that they learn is really cool looking, and I tried to do some neat effects animations and things like that for all that stuff. So.
And then there's one move that I made that I'm really gonna try to make sure is right. It's kind of a risky one to implement, and we may not have the right amount of time for it. But you guys already know what that one is. And
yeah.
It
may or may not involve cards.
Yes.
Martin.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll see. Yes, I am the Saya people. I'm sorry.
Chain of memories.
That was for you,
Let's
man.
see. I would actually really have loved to get Nathan's answer to that one too, because he's worked on so many of the backer characters.
Let's just text him and we'll get it later. Hang on, I'll just
go ahead, text him, ask him which one, because I'd really like to know.
Oh, here real quick, Coda Swords and Fightsman has been asking this a couple times. I've gone over this in other streams before. He was asking about if there's going to be something akin to the forbidden power in the game. The general answer I'll give to that is that there is no sci-fi elements to this. There's no oh, I got hurt in real life through the game thing. That's not a thing that exists in this version of the universe. Reason being is because I wanted this to be kind of a more of a human story, and so I wanted to just be kind of all focused on just the character development and interactions and have that be the plot and not so much relying on the common tropes of the, story that takes place in a video game, virtual reality, futuristic type thing. Let's
be honest, the gimmicks.
Yeah, it's and I'm not saying it's so bad or whatever. I had my fun with that trope. I did it for the previous 2 iterations of Tome, and this time I wanted to do something completely different. So
it's a little more realistic.
Yeah.
In a sense, in this one, without that stuff, there's no if you poop in your dreams, you poop for real kind of thing in the game, as opposed to the series.
That was the cut episode of the show where they all poop themselves. Zach,
it's a little bit more realistic in a sense.
Zach, you've been so quiet. Have you seen any questions or anything that you want to tackle?
I'm actually working.
Oh, wow. Zach is truly the greatest of us all because he's not slacking at a time like this.
I'm actually working too.
Oh well. Okay.
I mean,
okay.
I'm also working.
This is part of the job.
Your impression of me was correct. Whoever was doing the okay thing. Oh, Lord in heaven.
So this is one for all of the folks from the show. Doug Guno asked, "What was your favorite line to record in the show?"
Oh boy, God, Anna, you've been so quiet too. By the way, you got anything?
I liked screaming.
I mean, your big scream at the end of the show with the dragon was terrifying. So thank you for that first and foremost.
I like the whole part where Zeto is getting really angry at Nylok, and Nylok just has his whole like tra-la-la-la-la like part where it's just because I like the trope of sort of the buffoon being like the hero and being like the guy to stand up against the bad guy. I like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, he's great. Kasums, Mackles, what about you guys?
Oh man, that's not fair because I write my own stuff. There's a lot. I guess just picking a random favorite among my favorites. I really like just about everything that happened in episode 8, the tournament, where I'm just talking like a member of Kaientai from WWE. Just
Indeed. Yes. What was the name of that secret technique you unleashed?
Oh yes, where I also do my Beyblade reference. Here we go! Special move! Shining Tornado Destiny Heartbreaker! Throw!
Throw? Woo! That's a good.
That was a good time. Good time.
KC?
My favorite dialogue for GC was anytime GC was talking about like friendship and all that stuff. It was really cute, and it always made me like want to QQ. It made me cry. I was like, he's cute. And also, thank you for playing was a line that was like, is the last word of the show.
Yeah.
So, I got the last word of the show in, and I was like, this is the line that can't suck. This one is the defining like, bye fam, thanks for watching. So like, it had to be decent. How many takes did we do of that?
I think we only did a few. You got it pretty quick, but I mean, we spent a lot of time on the last few episodes of games with Game Craze and Softy and everything in the show. But like, no, I'm so happy with how. I mean, like, and it's funny because looking back on the episode, I recently went back and I rewatched season 2 like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, my God, this shit is so melodramatic. But you know, it is, like, admittedly, but I'm still very proud of it, and I still really, really love it, and I'm happy that, like, I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm so, you know, satisfied. Oh, I'm sorry, real quick, to answer the question, it's about time, from both Kerbifer and Zeto, self-indulgently was my favorite kind of, like, catchphrase thing I had. No, I'm so pleased. I can still go back and watch the show and be happy and proud of the work that we did. I'm so incredibly grateful for, you know, the fan base that it developed, and you know, and just that, like, it had such a positive impact on people that followed it and cared about it. And, you know, it's because of the fan base that we developed that we were able to get the game funded, and now we're doing this, and this is the next adventure that we're going on with these characters, you know? So it's really exciting, and I know I'd thank you guys like 8 trillion times, you know, for this IP over and over, but I really can't say it enough. Like, I owe everybody here right now, you know, staff, cast, fans, like, for allowing this to happen. Like, honest to God. So thank you guys so much. Seriously.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How many questions do you think that we have left? Because we can do a couple more, and then I think we're going to close things out here.
I mean, I found one that this guy asked several times, and I like that. I like that the question got slightly longer every time you got questions. So I was like, I had it copied. I had it copied on this little notepad. Then I saw it in the chat again, and then it's
evolved.
And then it's like evolved over time.
It's been on a journey since then. All right, well, what is this? What is this question's final form?
Yeah, it's by Childish Meme Bino. Hey, Gadget, how many songs did you end up sending to Curb that ultimately didn't get used? Full songs and variations of existing ones. And do you plan on ever releasing them? And do you ever plan on releasing all your sick tunes? Like,
Wow.
The show used to be a musical.
Yeah. I feel like, for the most part, you end up using almost everything I give you, even the stuff I didn't quite give you too. Yeah,
I think that when you first sent me the original giant folder of all that stuff, to use just to begin with.
Yeah.
I think that there was only a handful of. I mean, obviously, you sent me some remixes of
video
pre-existing
game
themes.
arrangements that obviously you can't use. I think there was one song I said you can't use.
Yeah, I think it was something that you're no, this one's very personal to me. I want to keep it.
Yeah, personal and dear to my heart. You cannot use this one.
Even though it was, I actually considered it as a potential theme for if I were allowed to steal it. I thought it would have been a really fitting theme for when Oddball was introduced, but I had you do Digital Troublemakers, which became his theme for that.
It ended up being pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I really sincerely mean this. I'm not blowing smoke up his ass just because he's here. Every tune that Kadjik comes up with is excellent, and I love it, and I am a fan of his work so much. And by the way, through much work recently, one that I'm really happy with is the Troublemakers theme, which actually has a little bit of motif from the Hacker Factor, which is the hacker theme from the series. Mixed in with,
I like it.
Yeah, with a bunch of other stuff, and it's pretty great.
Someone earlier asked what the most challenging song I've done on this is, and the answer is Troublemakers.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't worry. It's okay. It's only because it's flexing my musical muscles that I don't have all that much. It's like you wanted to add some jazziness to it, and I was like, well, how do I do that? What do I do? And I started listening to other stuff, and I was like, I don't know if I could do that. And then I tried to do it, and then I'm just like,
it's pretty baller. It's pretty baller. I'm very happy with it. The Tales of the Terrain theme will be coming up next in terms of what I'll be working on. And actually, I'll have some news about other musicians that we're working with, and actually kind of what the whole scope of that is.
Actual musicians?
Actually!
Wow.
Actually outrageous. Andrew Resnick asked a question. This is important. Any info about filling the missing, the last 4 of the $200 backer slots? Yes, in fact, next year, and I won't go too much into detail yet, but we do have some ideas for other future contests, maybe giveaways, maybe auctions, things like that we may be doing for the 4 fully animated enemy character slots that unfortunately were donated for, but I think they were declined. They didn't end up actually going through. So there were 4 slots that were open. So they'll be like Team Latecomer or whatever. We'll see what happens with them. But that is a future thing that we'll be doing. We do plan on having some other events different from the giveaway that we did, some other things that we'll be doing, and there will be other opportunities for people who did not get to get their character in on the Kickstarter or who missed out on some of the higher tiers. There will be other opportunities, so keep an eye out. But any other last couple quick ones we can do that anybody has saved up?
Zega Exeron asks, will there be any moments where we see story bits unfold outside of the party, or does everything happen through the eyes of White Hat?
Everything happens through the eyes of White Hat, but as far as things that take place outside of the game, you'll see.
Let's see here. What parts, Hazabaza asks, what parts that you worked on are you most proud of?
Thus far, the animation has just been pure fun, and the writing has been very, very, very rewarding. And so far, even though I'm getting into writing the finale stuff now, so far I really like how the story is turning out, and that's been very rewarding. And I can't wait to start eventually recording the voices, and then getting to share the story through the eyes of the final game with you guys when it's all finished. So.
Oh, I got word back from Nathan about his favorite move, and he said it's a Constellation Charge.
Oh, yes. Sniperita and Astrologist's team attack, which is excellent. And it hoits.
That's the one where Astrologist jumps on Sniperita's back and just kills you.
He is. All right, well, guys, I think that we're gonna start wrapping things up here. So before we leave, real quick, I'd like to go around and even if it's just a quick little something, if you guys have any last few words to share, I'm gonna go one by one through each of you. Let's see, Zach, you first because you've been so quiet.
Check out Shattered Heaven by Adam Tilford. Really cool web series. www.shatteredheaven.com. He works his ass off.
You hear that shit, Adam? You hear that shit? That's for you. Zach, do you have anything to say to the Tome fans specifically?
Said that word.
That is all I have to say to the Tome fans. Check out Shattered Heaven. Check out Shattered Heaven.
Thank you. Screw Tome, forget it's not important. Let's say Mackle, Devin Mackle, the Rackle.
That's me.
And that's it.
All right. You know what? I'm just super grateful to all the fans out there. The support has been amazing, and honestly, Raccoon is a character that means so much to me on a personal level. So, just the fact that people appreciate the story that I was able to help craft so much, again, means the whole world to me, and I hope people enjoy what I have planned for him in the game.
Yes, indeed.
It's going to be a little bit of a...
Mac on Twitter.
You can do it if you want.
Do it. He's a good boy. He deserves people following him.
Follow Zach at Dying Mars. Oh no, you know what? Hold on a minute. I'm gonna put everybody's Twitter handles in the thing in just a minute. So everybody keep talking for now. Let's see. Jordan, how about you, please?
Okie dokie. Well, Chris, good friend. Me make art for him. Good time.
Ooga booga.
I really do appreciate, especially kind of getting my start here on the original series. Chris and I have been friends for a really long time now. We've had a really long working mutual relationship. And, I couldn't be happier to have him as a friend and being able to work on his stuff. So I really hope you guys, are... the assets I make, the other background artists, everyone that's working on this, they're all working really hard, and I hope you enjoy the game, and thank you for your support.
Spank you. Let's see, who's next? I put everybody's Twitter handles up there so you guys can follow us on Twitter, except for Scott, who doesn't have a Twitter because he sucks. Scott! No, not you, because you suck. Sorry, no, I love you, Scott. Martin, you next, please.
Hey, well, Tome means a lot to me, and the character of Nylok is someone that is very close to my heart, and it's very important to me that he gets to continue living through not just this game, but through all the people playing it. And it's really cool to still be on this ride and to still be able to look back and see where the series came from its humble beginnings. And again, I always mention this every time we talk about Tome these days, I feel, but endless credit should go to Curb, because he had a lot of people telling him that this was a waste of his time, and frankly, they were wrong. They were flat out wrong. And he, during a time when he was going through a lot of stress and when nobody really believed in him, really fought to make this vision happen, and it was a phenomenal thing that he did, and that he stuck to his guns, and I'm very proud of him. And I think everybody should know that, without Curb, this whole thing would not exist.
Well, thank you, buddy. Mwah! Mwah! I send you kissy through internet. Thank you.
No, it's true though. It really is. I remember that time too. It was you fucking did it, man.
Well,
I would like to second those sentiments.
Well, I don't want this all to be about just all you filleting me with compliments, as much as I appreciate that.
Too bad I already did.
Just things in general to share. Scott, how about you next, please?
This has been a fantastic project to work on. Everybody is super talented and super great, and this has just been a really enjoyable experience. Please, I'll do the Japanese game developer thing. Please look forward to updates in 2019.
Bows. We have been giving you this update about Tome directly to you. Let's see. Kasims, how about you?
Wonderful.
man.
Ever get to take a break?
How do I follow that? How do I top that? Yeah, basically what was already said. Thank you, Curb, for I'm just going back to you, but like for just doing this and rolling with it. When people said you can't do it because, like Martin said, they were wrong. They were dead fucking wrong. And it was.
No, Casey, it's
cool journey.
Casey, it's okay. They're all making way much more money than I am on Let's Play channels right now. Anyway.
So I got a new phone. I don't have the app anymore to make that noise. But bit of journey.
Thank you.
DC, and like I said before, developing throughout the series and now the game, kind of merging a little bit of GC's character into like what I am, and you kind of made GC a little bit more like me in a sense. So it's been pretty cool to write this and this whole long ass adventure, 7 years now and counting. It's been a pretty wild ride so far, and I'm excited to see what happens in 2019 or 2020. If this game is going to be out on 11/11/2019 or maybe February 20th, 2020, I don't know.
Look, I don't care if it's January 1st, 2020 or December 31st, 2020. Just sometime in that year is my goal, and I think we can do it. So
if 2020 is the goal, then...
Excuse me.
We are on pace for it, easily.
Kerbifa Piranha Plant 2020.
Oh, my God. Kadget, you next, please.
Before I say anything, I do love that there's someone in the chat. Their idea of the onomatopoeia of what an air horn is just honk honk.
Hey, happy Homestuck Day, everybody! Happy Homestuck Day! Making miracles, anyway.
I was laughing quietly to myself when people were saying air horn sound effect, and one person had decided to just say honk honk.
God Almighty.
Anyways, I'm glad you guys really like my music. It is sort of surprising to me just because music isn't like my daytime job and it's not something I really focus on. So it makes me happy to hear that people enjoy hearing my music and like hearing what I'm trying to put out. So thank you so much for a lot, and of course thank you, Chris, for giving me the opportunity to flex my musical muscles and try to I don't know, just get better as a musician.
No, of course, man. Get back to work!
Yeah, for all of you who don't know, it actually takes me insanely long time to make music.
It is. Now, listen, it's always worth it. It's because it's always excellent. Don't even worry about it. We're gonna have, like I said before, we're gonna have a bitchin' soundtrack. I wish that Yoav could be here and some of the other folks who have not been announced yet. But next time, catch it. Anna, our fearless leader.
Yes.
What do you have? What do you have to say to all the Tome fans out there?
Man, this has been such a great ride. Like, I was just a little babby voice actress in the very beginning, and you get to like come with me on this freaking journey, and it's freaking amazing. It's been amazing. I got to experience so much and meet so many amazing people. Meet like best friends in real life. Like it's been wonderful. I can't appreciate it more.
Well, I'm very excited to get through all 1,000+ of your lines in the scripts next year. So I'm going to be working you very hard. But so thank you in advance for that also. Oh God! All right, Michael, how about you?
This has been one of the roughest years of my life, and Terrain of Magical Expertise has been a very wonderful, stable element within that. Aside from the stability that's given me in terms of work, it's given me a chance to look after my family as they go through a rough time, and it's kind of given me a little surrogate family here, full of very positive people who all are dedicated to making a fun, positive little game as much as I am. I can be having really, really gloomy days, and then I'll crack open one of the localization spreadsheets, and I'll see some of the dialogue that's been written for Nylok, or some of the exchanges between Kerbifer and Alpha, and it'll remind me of people who I used to know, and people that I now get to know, and it just gives me a little piece of sunlight back in what's been kind of a gloomy year. I'd like to thank the fans who have been very, very positive every single time that we've done one of these streams. It's been amazingly refreshing to work in a context where reactions seem to be this positive. I'm definitely looking to return the favor to everybody and make sure that Tome is something you're all proud of, and something that hopefully gives some other people a lot of positivity.
Well, I can't even top that. Thank you for setting the bar, Michael.
Oh. We appreciate you, Mike.
Oh my God, yeah. No, I have nothing more to add. I've said it all. I am eternally indebted to all of you guys so much for making this literal dream come true. And so I hope that for everybody, both the people working on it and the people who will be playing it, that what we do will be a fun time, will be positively impactful, and will be something that everybody can, in some way, shape, or form, be proud of and give a smile to and everything. I know this is the cheesiest nonsense I've ever said in my life, but it's true. It's goddamn true. You know what? Everybody, thank you very, very much for tuning in to our 7th anniversary stream. This will certainly not be the last. Well, it'll be the last 7th anniversary stream, but not the last anniversary. You know what I
mean. Before we close it out, I do want to give one last word.
Sure.
Shout out to Nathan Lindley.
Yes.
Who is our other programmer. Unfortunately couldn't make it today due to family events.
Yes.
Positive family events, thankfully. He really busted his ass on this.
Oh yeah.
He's been the one who has been primarily implementing the backer characters and all of the monsters and all of their abilities and things. He basically took over combat for the last couple of months. So he deserves a lot of credit for what you saw today and for a lot of the upcoming stuff that we're going to be showing. He's been absolutely amazing, and I cannot underscore enough how valuable he's been to the project.
Yeah,
I wanted to make sure to say that because he's not here to speak for himself. You know? So I apologize for interrupting.
No.
Advice, but
no, not at all. No, and you know what? And it's good you reminded me again. I do want to say also, not just to Nathan, but shout outs again to Mike Lucas, Amy Lucanegro, Crescent Rhodes, Matt Gardner, and Pete Gresser, Fooley, Terrence Lipinski, of course, and other people we have not announced yet, other staff members that I'll be talking about in updates next year. All the people that have helped continue to make this possible. We are, this is all because of you guys, and I'm so incredibly happy. The fact that every day I get to wake up and it's time to work on my passion, and this is like what I'm doing. Like it is unlike anything else, and I do not take it for granted. I truly mean that when I say I never take it for granted. I'm so appreciative of it. And, we've still got a long way to go. 2019, we're going to be working our asses off continually, but, we're going to keep it up. Thank you, everybody, again, for showing up in the chat, watching on the archive. All of you guys in here for staying for the whole thing, by the way. Very kind of you guys, between everybody's schedules and stuff. I have one last little extra thing that I'm going to go out on. If everybody could in the voice chat right now, if you could do me a favor and mute yourself, I'm gonna play a little something that, if I'm right, I believe a friend of mine from the Silva Gunner YouTube channel uploaded today, and I think if it's what I think it is, I'm gonna play it, and I think it might be kind of a cool little thing to go out on. It's just about 2 minutes. So I'll let you know when it's over. But if everybody could mute themselves for just a sec, I'm gonna play a little something, and hope you guys out there enjoy this. So here it is. Thank you, everybody. This has been the Terrain of Magical Expertise 7th anniversary, and we will next see you all on the battleground.